Welcome back to Bookkast, the podcast that brings you bestsellers in minutes.
Bestsellers in minutes.
That's right. And today we are diving deep into Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, I love that book.
Me too.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it was published in 2012.
Okay.
So it's been around for a little while, but I feel like it's having like a resurgence right now.
Totally.
And it actually started as like an online
It did.
serial. Sarah J. Maas's early online fan base. She actually dedicated the book to them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about this young assassin, Celaena Sardothien.
Yes.
And she is stuck in this like brutal salt mine,
Brutal.
Endovier,
Yes.
ruled by this really like nasty king.
Yes.
And there's magic and a competition for freedom.
Yeah. It's a total page turner.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what do you say we jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so right away we were introduced to Celaena.
Yes.
And she's not like a pampered princess.
No, not at all.
She's been through it.
She's had a rough go.
Yeah, and we meet her in Endovier in these horrific salt mines.
Horrific.
Like you really get a sense of just how awful it is there.
Yeah, like the way Maas describes it, you can just feel the grit, the grime, the despair.
Yeah, it's very visceral.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Celaena is she refuses to be broken.
That's what I love about her. You know, it's been through so much, but that inner strength, that fire, it never goes out.
Exactly. And even the overseers,
Oh, what awesome.
like these brutal guards, they try to crush her spirit.
Yeah, they try to beat her down, literally and figuratively.
But she never lets them.
She never gives them the satisfaction.
Right.
It's incredible.
And then she comes face to face with the crown prince himself.
Dorian Havilliard.
Yeah. Oh, he's something else.
He is such a tense encounter.
You can cut the tension with a knife in that scene, I swear.
I know. Like, she's covered in grime and sweat, but she refuses to grovel.
Totally. She meets his gaze, and there's this defiance, this spark that just shows you who Celaena is. It's a powerful introduction to her character.
It is.
It really is.
Uh-huh.
And then Dorian throws her this curveball.
Curveball is right.
He offers her a deal.
Become the king's champion.
Yeah.
Fight for him and potentially win her freedom after 6 grueling years.
6 years.
That's a lifetime.
It really is, especially considering the alternative.
Like staying in Endovier forever.
I don't even want to think about it.
I know. It's just...
It's a terrible choice, really.
It is. It really highlights how desperate Celaena's situation is.
It does. It really does. And it makes you think, you know, what would you do in that situation? Would you sacrifice your morals, your values for a shot at freedom?
It's a question that haunts the entire book.
Totally. It makes you question everything.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because we get these glimpses into Celaena's past.
Yes.
And she wasn't always a prisoner.
No.
She was trained as an assassin.
By Adarlan Hamel?
Yeah.
That guy. He's a piece of work.
Oh, tell me about it. So yeah, that's where we start to see the depth of her character, right? We learn about her training, the sacrifices she made to become this lethal weapon.
It makes you realize that she's not just some cold-blooded killer.
Exactly. There's a reason she is the way she is.
Right. There's a whole backstory, a whole history that led her to this point.
Exactly.
And it's tragic in a lot of ways.
It is.
You know, the loss of her parents at such a young age.
Yeah, that definitely shaped her.
It hardened her.
For sure.
And then she's thrust into this brutal competition.
I know, 23 other champions, all vying for that same chance at freedom.
And they don't exactly play fair, do they?
No, they do not. The king sets up these tests, these trials, and some of them are downright deadly.
Yeah, and it's not just about skill.
Yeah.
It's about being ruthless, being cunning.
It's about survival.
Yeah, like you said, some of them don't even make it out alive.
It's brutal.
It really makes you question the price of freedom.
It does.
Like, is any price too high?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's something Celaena grapples with throughout the book.
Absolutely. And then there's this added layer of...
Magic.
Yes.
Ooh, I love the magic in this book.
Me too.
It's so well done.
So these strange symbols, the word mark...
The word marks, yes.
Start popping up in the castle gardens.
Creepy.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
And Celaena's drawn to them.
Of course she is. She's curious.
Yeah, but Nehemia, Princess of Iway...
Oh, Nehemia. She's amazing.
I love her.
Such a strong character.
Yeah, she warns Celaena about the word marks.
She says their power's forgotten for a reason.
Yeah, like it's dangerous, forbidden.
Exactly.
And it just adds this whole other layer of mystery to the story.
It does. It really does. And remember, Nehemia has her own secrets, her own agenda.
Oh, yeah?
She's not just some princess. She's aiding rebels back in her homeland.
Fighting against the same kind of tyranny that Celaena's trying to escape.
Exactly.
And the recent massacre of those 500 rebels.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It really is.
But it also shows Nehemia's strength.
Her resilience, I mean, she's carrying so much grief, so much pain.
But she never gives up.
She's a fighter.
Through and through.
So we've got Celaena fighting for her freedom, Nehemia fighting for her people.
And then we have the killer.
Oh, yeah.
Who turns out to be Cain. that
You're
jerk,
using the word marks.
to summon a demon.
A Ritterak.
A Ritterak. That thing is terrifying.
It's like something out of a nightmare.
It is.
And he's stealing the strength of the defeated champions.
Making himself even stronger.
Yeah, like what a twisted plan.
Talk about power hungry.
I know, right?
And the Ritterak itself, it's not just a monster, it's like a symbol of the dangers of forgotten magic, you know? It represents this dark potential, this corruption that can fester when power is left unchecked.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Right, it's like a warning. Even with a promise of freedom, there are these dark forces at play.
Forces that can twist and corrupt.
Exactly.
And then we have Prince Dorian.
Oh, Dorian.
He's struggling with his own internal conflict.
Yeah, he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, isn't he?
He is.
On the one hand, he seems to be developing feelings for Celaena.
Yeah, you can totally sense the chemistry between them.
Definitely, there's a spark there.
But on the other hand, he's the son of a tyrant.
The son of the very king Celaena is trying to escape.
It's a lot.
It is, and it makes you wonder, can he break free from his father's legacy?
Can he choose a different path?
That's the big question.
It is.
And it's one that keeps you hooked, you know? Because Dorian, he represents this possibility of hope, of change.
Yeah, he does.
But he's trapped in this system, this world of power and privilege.
So it's like he's fighting for freedom, too.
In a way, yes, he is. He's fighting against the expectations, the constraints of his birthright.
It's almost like his struggle mirrors Celaena's.
It does, doesn't it? They're both yearning for something more, something beyond the confines of their current reality.
But they're approaching it from completely different angles.
Exactly, and that's what makes their dynamics so fascinating. So yeah, lots of tension, lots of intrigue, and that's just the first part of Throne of Glass, folks.
I know, it's so good.
So good.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too. I'm already on the edge of my seat.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and dive into the rest of the story.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so we left off with all this tension.
Oh, I know, so much tension.
Between Celaena and Dorian, and the competition, and the magic, and the mystery.
And Cain and the Ritterak.
Oh yeah, that thing is still out there lurking.
So where do we go from here?
Well, buckle up, because things are about to get even more intense.
Oh, I love it when things get intense.
Me too. So we're thrust into this heart-stopping final duel.
Okay, the final duel, I remember this.
It's epic, right?
So good.
So Celaena has been drugged, poisoned, actually.
What? With what?
With Bloodbane.
Bloodbane, that doesn't sound good.
It's not. It's designed to weaken her, make her lose.
So it's rigged.
Totally, the king is not playing fair.
Of course not. Would we expect anything less from him?
Right. But Celaena, she keeps fighting.
Even though she's been poisoned.
Yeah, she's tough, remember?
She is.
And Kale, her trainer, he's urging her on.
Kale, he's great.
He is. He's got this gruff exterior, but deep down, he really cares about Celaena.
Yeah, you can tell.
So anyway, she's fading fast. It's like she's running out of time.
And it's strength.
Yes, and just when it seems like she's about to be defeated,
Like it's all over.
the surge of magic intervenes.
Magic. Oh, here we go.
I know, right? And guess who appears?
Who?
Erilea, the first queen of Adarlan.
No way. I totally forgot about her.
I know she's kind of this mysterious, legendary figure.
Yeah, and she just shows up.
Out of nowhere.
That's amazing.
I know, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
It's like there are these forces at work that are bigger than anyone realizes.
Right. And then later we find out that Nehemia, yeah, she was secretly using the weird marks.
What? Those dangerous symbols?
Yes, but she was using them to heal Celaena, to protect her.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
I know, it shows how deep their bond is.
It really does. It's like a true friendship that can overcome anything.
Exactly. And it makes Celaena's final decision even more difficult.
What do you mean?
Well, remember, she chooses to become the king champion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So she's basically agreeing to work for the man who's been oppressing her people.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
It is. It's a really complex decision.
And it makes you wonder, why would she do that?
Well, I think it speaks to the complexity of her character.
I mean, how so?
She's not perfect, you know?
No one is.
Right, she's flawed, she makes mistakes, but she's also incredibly strong and resourceful.
And she's driven by this deep desire for freedom.
Absolutely. So I think in that moment, she makes a calculated decision.
A risky gamble.
Yeah, she's going to play the game, but she's going to play it her way.
Okay, that makes sense. So she's not just giving in.
No, she's biding her time. She's getting closer to the source of power.
So she can maybe change things from the inside.
Exactly. She's trading one cage for another.
But this time she has a little bit more leverage.
Right. She's the king's champion now. That gives her influence, access.
And I bet she's going to use it.
Oh, you know she will. She's not going to sit back and just follow orders.
No way, not Celaena.
She's going to challenge the status quo, disrupt the system.
I wonder if the king realizes what he's gotten himself into.
I doubt it.
He thinks he's hired an assassin.
But he's unleashed a force of nature.
I love that. Right.
Celaena's unpredictable. She's dangerous.
And she's not afraid to fight for what she believes in.
And that's what makes Throne of Glass so captivating.
Agreed. It keeps you guessing. It subverts expectations.
You think you know what's going to happen, and then bam, Maas throws a curveball.
Like Celaena becoming the king's champion?
Exactly. It's not a defeat. It's a strategic move.
The beginning of a new chapter.
A new fight.
And it leaves you wanting more.
Oh, absolutely. You finish the book, and you're like, okay, what happens next?
I need the next book right now.
Right. That's the hallmark of a great fantasy series.
It leaves you with questions, with a thirst for more.
And Maas, she delivers. She's created this incredible world.
So rich and intricate.
With layers upon layers of history, magic, political intrigue.
It's amazing how much depth there is to this story.
And for a book that started as an online serial, it's really well crafted.
Yeah, the pacing is great.
The characters are complex.
The action scenes are gripping.
And it's all wrapped up in this epic tale of good versus evil, freedom versus oppression.
It's a story that resonates with everyone, I think.
I agree. It's about finding your strength, your voice.
Even when the world tries to silence you.
It's about fighting for what you believe in, even when the odds are stacked against you.
And it's about the power of love, friendship, loyalty.
In a world that can often feel dark and unforgiving.
But you know what else I love about Throne of Glass?
What's that?
It's just fun.
Oh, yeah. It's a great escape.
You get lost in this world of magic, adventure, romance.
And sometimes that's exactly what we need.
A little bit of escapism.
Absolutely. A reminder that even in the darkest of times,
there's still room for beauty.
For hope.
For a little bit of magic.
And I think that's what draws readers to Maas's work.
It's not just about escaping reality.
It's about finding the strength to face it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have, but there's still so much more to explore.
I know. And I don't want to spoil everything for our listeners.
Right, we want to leave them wanting more.
Exactly. So let's maybe move on to...
So much more to explore with Throne of Glass, but I think we've given our listeners a pretty good taste.
Yeah, like we've uncovered all these layers of the story. You know, the hidden motivations, the tangled relationships.
Yeah.
And then, bam, it ends with Celaena making this huge decision.
I know.
She chooses freedom. It comes with strings attached.
Big time strings.
Yeah, she's bound to serve a king who's basically a tyrant.
A tyrant?
I mean,
well,
what's she thinking?
No, it's not a simple answer, is it? And that's what I love about Maas's writing. She doesn't shy away from the complexity of her characters.
Yeah.
Their choices. Celaena's driven by this deep desire for freedom. But she's also pragmatic.
Okay.
She knows she can't change the world overnight, so she makes this calculated decision.
A risky gamble.
Yeah, she's going to play the game, but she's going to play it her way.
So she's trading one cage for another.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But this time she's got a bit more leverage, right?
Definitely. She's the king's champion now. That gives her influence.
Access.
Exact.
And I bet she's going to use it.
Oh, you know she will.
I know.
She's not going to sit back and just follow orders.
No way.
She's going to challenge the status quo. Disrupt the system from within.
It makes you wonder if the king realizes who he's dealing with.
I mean...
You think he's hired a weapon.
Right.
But she's more like a wildfire?
Unpredictable.
Danger. I love that analogy. Yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with.
For sure.
And again, that's what makes Maas's storytelling so brilliant.
It really is.
She keeps you guessing. Like you think you know where the story's going.
Right.
And then boom. Curveball.
Just like Celaena becoming the king's champion.
It's not a defeat. It's a strategic move.
Exactly.
The beginning of a new chapter.
A new fight.
And you know what else? It just leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Like I finished the book and I'm like, okay, what happens next? What is she going to do?
Right.
How is she going to handle this impossible situation?
That's the sign of a truly great fantasy series. It leaves you with all these questions.
Yeah.
This thirst for more.
And Maas, she delivers.
She does.
This world she's created in Throne of Glass.
It's amazing, right?
It's so rich.
So intricate.
So many layers of history, magic, political intrigue.
Oh, yeah.
You could spend hours just dissecting it all.
And, you know, for a book that started as an online serial, it's really impressive how well crafted it is.
The pacing,
the action,
and it's all wrapped up in this like epic tale of good versus evil,
freedom versus oppression.
It's a story that I think resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about finding your strength,
finding your voice,
even when the world is trying to silence you.
Exactly.
It's about fighting for what you believe in,
even when odds are stacked against you.
And it's about love and friendship and loyalty
in a world that can be pretty dark and unforgiving.
Right, but you know what else I love about Throne of Glass?
What's that?
It's just fun, you know? It's a good escape.
Oh, yeah, it's an adventure.
You get lost in this world of magic and adventure and romance. Sometimes that's exactly what you need.
It is, you know? Just to step away from reality for a little bit.
Exactly, to immerse yourself in something completely different.
And Maas does such a great job of creating that immersive experience.
She does, and I think that's what ultimately draws readers to her work.
Me too.
It's not just about escaping reality. It's about finding the strength to face it.
That's a great point.
So, there you have it. Thrown a glass.
In a nutshell.
Or maybe we should say in a glass coffin, given the title.
Nice one.
But seriously, if you haven't read this book yet, I highly recommend it.
I do too.
It's a fantastic introduction to Maas's work, and it's a story that will stay with you long after you finish it.
Absolutely.
And that was Bookkast, where we bring you bestsellers in minutes.
Bestsellers in minutes.
Until next time, happy reading.